and say like you're
Okay,
ready to go.
we're going now. We're live. Okay.
All right. How is everybody doing tonight?
I got a great run for you today. Shadow the Hedgehog. It's an interesting game. I've been playing a long time. This category in particular is not easy, but definitely something that's fun, and hopefully gonna show off some cool stuff today.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Do you want to introduce the just talk a quick for a second about what the category is, and we'll start?
Well, I figured you can get going and I can explain as we play. There's a lot of game and there's only so much to explain, so we can do some multitasking there.
Sure, alright.
So I say whenever you're ready to go, let's get it going.
Alright, I'll count myself down and I start the timer thing, and I'll be back. I'm gonna let Zetti just commentate. I'll be back probably to wrap things up at the end, but good luck to the commentary, and see you guys soon.
All right. Let's see when the run starts. On my side. Right. So, expert mode in Shadow the Hedgehog is basically a big old list of all the stages, one after another. So instead of having different branching possibilities, different missions, you just got one mission. You gotta do it as fast as possible. To start, we're gonna hit that helicopter there. That actually if we go the correct direction instead of up, that would actually shoot us down way faster, and we've been able to save a little bit of time there. Yeah, here's Wessopolis. The mission here, which is going to be the mission for pretty much every stage in expert mode, is get to the goal ring. And to do that, we'll be utilizing a lot of the different powers that Shadow can accomplish while he's in this level. So here we're killing a bunch of aliens, and those aliens are able to give us the power of Chaos Control. And with Chaos Control, we can basically turn a little section of the game into a auto-scroller. Zoom by everything, and yeah, we're going to use those in particular locations so that we can skip really harder tedious sections and just go fast. So I hate it when the box tries to grab the box there, but we'll be fine. Yeah, so here's the Chaos Control. We're going to be skipping all of this here. Just that. And now we're going to be, normally we've tried to get to that light ring and zip through because that will give us the top speed for a bit. And these are all the different shadow weapons that you unlock as you play the different story modes. So this is the egg vacuum, one that you unlock as you play the neutral story. And with this egg vacuum, Pokemon Master is going to be able to just take everything out of this way. Let's assume it can be vacuumed up. So giant wall can't be vacuumed up. Boxes can be vacuumed up. So as long as you know where you're going, it's going to be decently easy to get through everything here. So now Pokemon Master actually has the power of Dark Shadow. So and with both Dark Shadow and Hero Shadow, we get the invincibility, infinite ammo, and we just focus on our movement, and everything else can just get out of the way. So, and the stage is right here, and that's stage 1. Yeah, so you may have noticed there that the goal ring is actually at the end, where normally it would be kind of higher up before Pokemon Master took another fall down, and that is because they want you to play more of the stage. So sometimes they'll move the ring around so you experience the full stage. So yeah, here is a digital circuit. This is the government's computer. We're going to be riding on the the internet lanes and dodging the firewalls that are popping everywhere. Pretty neat stage. It's a decently long one too, but we'll be getting some kills here and there that will give us the power of chaos control to make at least some of the level pretty quick to do.
What is that?
So another change that you'll notice with expert mode is that some of the geometry and the environment and stuff is a little bit different. This is normally a staircase of like 4 blocks, and there to make it more expert, they made it only 2 blocks, and they made it so you had to do a light ring dash up to make it across. So another thing there was that they didn't give you platforms to jump onto the rails. So another thing you might be noticing here, Pokemon Master is taking damage running into these firewalls. Did it like twice without getting any rings, didn't die. That's weird for a Sonic game. Well, it turns out there's lots of things flying in the air like bullets in this game. So anytime you take damage, it's only 10 rings left. The Pokemon Master, as of right now, could take 7 hits before having to take another to take a death. So makes damage boosting through things a little bit easier and less worrisome. Alright, so got the egg vacuum again here. Good use for the egg vacuum in a lot of these stages is to get a bunch of hero points. Yeah, there's some enemies that you just can't vacuum up, but some stages, all the enemies you care about get vacuumed up. So I can do that. Ooh, we can do a dash jump here. This is a decently new strategy we've come up with. Unfortunately, it didn't work out this time, but you can get up pretty high and skip these cycles with the power. Now we get the and we're up. Ooh, nice one there. Normally, I would do a charge and dash to make sure I have enough speed and distance, but it was very good. So this is the key door or secret door. They typically will have a shortcut or some special prize. We don't really care about the prize most of the time, but shortcuts, that sounds fast. So in this case, it's a decent shortcut so that we don't have to take a lot of turns in this section here. Don't have to do an obstacle course either. Our way through just a few more of these. Here, there's 2 worms on the side here that Pokemon Master is vacuuming up. A bit off screen, but you saw the little white bubble as they get into the vacuum. So those worms are a little bit faster to get on the from the newer builds of the game. So if you're playing on Japanese GameCube or an Xbox, any region, you'll be able to vacuum up those worms a little bit faster. So if we were playing this normal story, that's where the goal ring would be. But there's a whole dark section, so we're gonna head into there, and that's where the goal ring is for expert. Right, and then having the egg vacuum here allowed us to take out those beetles without having to worry about the electric shields that would normally take out bullets. That's the heal cannon. Perfect. It lets you get hero points for helping your allies. So we helped out our allies, which was the beetle. We had full chaos control. Goal ring. Stage 2 complete. Moving on, we're now in Stage 2, Glyphic Canyon. We're going left to right, top to bottom, so we'll be completing all the different Stage 2s that you will see in story mode, and then all the Stage 3s, and so on and so forth. As is tradition in Sonic games, ramps and loops are pretty slow, so we try to skip those whenever possible. That ramp in particular takes a long time to get back down. Just to remove the ramp in that part there, which can definitely trip you up if you were not prepared for it. Yep, use another loop skip. Doing pretty good so far. Some players will choose to use the egg vacuum here, some others will use the Omochao gun. Both are good in their own right. I prefer egg vacuum. But there's others that definitely prefer the Omochao gun. And that was quite the light dash there. That could have been very devastating, but hopefully we are able to light dash in midair. So here we're looking for that. Here's a nice little skip that we'll get to try again here real quick. We'll use the slanted geometry and a spin dash jump to skip this whole loop that we were going to take instead. To just be able to skip all of this. Unfortunately, the timing is decently tight. I mean, I've been playing for a while, and it took me at least a good year or so to get really consistent with it. So, and even sometimes I make mistakes. It is what it is. Oh, they got hit by the portal. No. All good though. We got the checkpoint right next to it. It's not like we lost our chaos control points. So, quick recovery. But normally there's a bunch of floating platforms there, and they want you to dig a whole loop just like we did in the earlier section. But doing that spin dash jump allowed us to just skip all the way through. Just making our way through here. Very good use of the slide attack to allow us to keep moving forward, but then deal damage to anything that was in our way. Real quick here, we're going to do a spin dash jump into the trigger of this section. That brings us into the next section, so instead of having to do another loop, we just skip it. So, a lot of loops in this stage. It's kind of insane, actually. Yep, and there's that goal ring.
Perfect.
Oh, we made it. Very good. Coming up next here is Lethal Highway, and Lethal Highway is quite an interesting stage because depending on how exactly you're planning to play the game, there's a lot of different ways you can go about it. For expert mode Glitchless, we will be pretty much running through it as much as possible, dodging everything that's on the road, all the debris, the safety cones that will block you like a rock, all that fun stuff. To help out with that, we're going to grab some G ammo and make our way past these guys.
Just gotta keep moving.
Now in this item box here, unfortunately we didn't get this time, but if we're a little bit careful with the stage, or honestly, yeah, just restart, because as we'll see, if you go through that section and do a precise shot, you're able to guarantee yourself the fire shield. And with the fire shield, anything that would take one bit of damage will take a bit of damage. And then for like all the larvae and the enemy or gun soldiers, they just get blown out of the way. You can just focus on your movement. So while we're doing this, we're going to make sure we try to get as many of these hero point kills and alien kills, because we're going to want to use chaos control first. Now, like with any other expert mode, they do change it up a little bit, so like that door would normally not be locked behind the alien kill, but it is for expert. This egg vacuum, we're able to do as we've done in all the other stages and quickly get kills. Nothing in this stage that we want to kill can't get killed by the egg vacuum, and we just hold down the B button, things go in, and we're happy. Look at all this larva that we got to just run through with this fire shield. It's very nice.
Damn.
A few more enemies here that we can grab real quick. Because there is another section like we were at before where we use chaos control that we want to use chaos control, and that is really unfortunate. We're going to want to be extra careful now because we're at 0 lives. And in expert mode, if we run out of lives with 0 lives remaining, that's the end. So if we come to a point where we're going to die, we need to cancel or leave the stage and try to come back. Or powering off the console even to keep our lives from the last save point. Because if you leave, you end up doing a quick save, which would save us at 0 lives, which would put us in a much worse position.
Damn, not here.
But yeah, this is the section we were trying to ignore before. Long and, like, difficult because it's expert mode. And... Alright, so that is a game over in expert mode, and that means we gotta start from the beginning. Let's see what we can do this time around. So we got a good jump there. Or good, what do you call it? Light dash down after taking damage from the helicopter, which we were not able to do normally. You have to take damage to unlock the ability to light dash downwards. Now we're good here. But we do need to wait about a second and a half before doing the jump off the ramp. Otherwise we get stuck by the wall there. Just as before, we're going to be gathering hero points and weapons to be able to get more hero points. I would have had a chance to talk about it before, but we do grab some hero points from the flames. Those are good guy things, so we get points for that. Yeah, currently at 1 life right now because we had a handful of deaths with the not getting past the first ramp.
The ultimate power. Damn, not here.
Play it safe from here on out, we should be okay. That's an unfortunate death there. And unfortunately the next checkpoint would have been right after that light dash, so we're unfortunately right back at the beginning. Points now. Normally we have a ramp here, which is a lot easier to manage when we want to use the chaos control. Because basically any time past that, you're able to use the chaos control to get through here.
What the heck is happening?
Yeah, now we got that light dash now, and we were able to get a little bit more speed. Unfortunately, with the way this level kind of lays out, it's a little bit difficult to get like the full skip section. Got Dark Shadow again, so we don't have to worry about running out of ammo. We can just focus on movement.
Perfect.
Alright, there we go.
What is this sensation? I feel weightless atop this light. I see.
Into
I can
digital
control
circuit again.
which way this leads.
we've been talking about like different changes in expert mode versus story mode. Normally there isn't a giant firewall in the middle of that section. I think the other day I was actually doing practice attempts for just dark missions in general, and I was trying to dodge that thing that didn't exist in the story stage. So really unfortunate, but at least for me at that time, really unfortunate. But now I know. Alright, another thing about that room that we were just in there, there's a local timer type of, or cycle going on there. If as soon as you like land after the light dash upwards, your timer kind of just starts, and the searchlight that we were aiming for starts moving. So if you're too slow there, the searchlight will actually move past you, and you have to wait for it to come back in line so that you can actually hit the spring and get into the searchlight. Ah, yes, and those buggers are very annoying when it comes to homing attacks.
Guess I have to go down.
Alright, getting our trusty egg vacuum. Honestly, egg vacuum is one of the best weapons in this game. Or all it does for us with speedrunning. Let's just not worry about one major aspect of this game, because like you're running really fast like you would in any other Sonic game, but you also have to like take out the different objectives, take out the different. That was a fantastic spin dash jump there. So let's skip a little bit of time there. But yeah, just allows us to focus on the movement part, not so much on the killing part and the point management, because a lot of times you can just turn your brain off, run through a section, and everything just goes in. And because we took the secret door, like everything you're seeing off to the right there, we're just dodging that completely. Very nice. I don't know if Pokemon Master can hear me right now, but we would want to prioritize getting rings up to 100, and then every checkpoint we go over, then we are able to get an extra life. So we're at 100 rings now. If we keep that up, we can start replenishing our life count. I believe they do give you, I think normally for a story mode, you get 5 lives, but for expert mode, you end up getting only 3. Just another thing to make it just that much more harder to play. And to prove that you are indeed an expert at Shadow.
It looks like this is going to teleport me off someplace.
Unfortunately, missed that checkpoint, but we'll be landing on one in the next section here, so at least one extra life. There we go. Out of the danger zone for now.
Behold the ultimate power!
Alright, and then as we were talking about before, this is the heal cannon. Shooting allies will give you hero points, but shooting enemies will also give you dark points. And another fun fact about that is that when an enemy or ally gets hit by the heal cannon, they will become pacified. They won't, because everything, good or bad, everyone wants to hurt you, because they don't know what your affiliations are in this game. So by default, everything just attacks you.
This is going to be a true test of
So
your abilities.
using that to be able to pacify them is actually pretty helpful. We'll see that later in the
You won't
run.
be able to continue. If you want to afford
Alright, welcome back to Glitchless Canyon. Remember, we hate loops, so we skip the loops. And we hate ramps, so we skip the ramps. Expertly done. Alright, we're gonna grab the heal cannon. Right there off to the right, that was a laser from the sky, using the satellite laser, that we accidentally picked up and used real quick. But got us some points, so works out. We'll use that sometimes runs to reach things we really are out of reach for. The tornado.
Assuming aberration.
We got a couple loops here. Those are pretty easy to skip with a well-timed jump. And then, yeah, being a little bit more careful there, we're able to get the full light ring dash. It's really like awful. It just like from my experience, a lot of the expert mode is actually not all that. Oh, we're gonna get this one. Let's see. It's hard. This is really hard. Like, you gotta get the timing just right. So if you, yep, there we go. There we go. Let's go. Yeah, I can't stress enough how tight that jump can be sometimes. So, very good that we got that.
Behold the ultimate power.
Alright, and now we have our full chaos meter this time around in here. So, we do get these last two guys. We're able to skip everything from here on out. Up to here. And then we can get out of chaos control early, because we are able to stop chaos control, as we did in Wasopolis. And then we can gain more points, and then use it again to get even further. So, needless to say, if it wasn't already self-explanatory, chaos control is so important for
Perfect.
going really fast. And we just got a 3-line bonus from basically vacuuming up enough stuff with the egg vacuum. So we got a lot of lives again. Let's go.
I've just gotta keep moving.
Alright, Lethal Highway.
Hey, come here! Come here!
Normally there's a tank. If you actually caught it for the first like 2 frames of that little section there, there was a tank there and it just despawned. So, yeah. This mission's normal mode. We don't have a tank here like fighting along the way. Very well timed jumping item box.
Let them out of the
Grab it.
city alive. Hey, where's my bike?
We're at full power.
See where it is? Don't let him get away! Fire! Get him!
Those things there, they're called they're almost like light rails, or no, some of them are definitely just rails like you see in like any of the other Sonic games. But those ones that travel between like normally untraversable sections. So we'll be seeing those a decent amount throughout the game. Got our egg vacuum, and we're off.
Don't let him get away!
And this another example of why having this fire shield is so important. All these things that would normally just halt you track is out of the way. Unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of fire shields in the game, so when we can get them easily, you better believe we're getting them. Alright, now we're able to get past this section. That collision that happened earlier, that was like really unfortunate, but it can happen in a lot of places, and you're supposed to be able to just blast through them with the fire shield, but sometimes you go a little too fast, and the way the game determines what happens first gets a little bit out of whack. It'll happen sometimes when you're running across like a segment scene to like where a ramp would be. I would end up hitting like try to hit the ramp, but I'll get stuck on the ledge right before the ramp. Really bad. But alright, this section, this is the other section we were trying to get chaos control for before. We're like a larva short. That's really unfortunate. But really quick and easy to get that last kill. And up and around we go.
Take 3 seconds. Hey, where's my bike?
From here on out, we're basically just running to the end.
Fry that sucker.
Everything gets out of our way. There is a jump here. But so long as... Yeah, with this jump is so easy with the fire shield. If you don't have the fire shield, you have to like break down that gate, and then you're able to jump around, and then you lose a bunch of room because the platform is gone at that point. That you have to jump over this gap for. So, have I said fire shield's amazing? Because it's amazing. This is the first of the stage 3s. This is Cryptic Castle for those of you familiar with how Sonic Heroes plays out. I think we just had a Sonic Heroes run like 2 runs ago. This stage is using a lot of assets from that game. So in those stages. So nice little Halloween experience. You can saw that we did like a little jumping maneuver. There's in that room we're supposed to be lifting up a platform to get to the lower level, but we found that with enough momentum and a well-timed jump, you're able to just dodge it completely by jumping a little bit earlier. So now, normally you're supposed to hit these fire torches like you would for the dark mission in the stage to unlock the different balloons, but we found that if you do a well-timed spin dash or spin dash jump, you can dodge a lot of the things in this game. So it looks like, yep, we're going to do another one here because there's a whole section below where you're supposed to like save Cream, because that's one of the objectives in this mission. But she acts as like a button trigger switch. That will let you get back up here with the spin dash jump you're able to through. Now something that we're going to try to do here is that we're going to try to get these Black Hawks that we're seeing flying around and get kills with them with the most useful form of Omochao, the Omochao gun. The Omochao gun is using Omochao to shoot Omochao heads, and the Omochao heads bounce around everywhere and get a lot of extra kills and points for you. So very useful in the upcoming rooms here. Make sure we don't run into this guy. Good timing on that too. Okay, so one shot will take out everything in that hallway, but you can kind of see it ricocheting around. And there's a bunch of enemies down here. I don't think we have enough points though. We're gonna have to wait for this platform to come down. It's up. Very, very slowly. They're all like that in this stage. So, ooh, we got the points for that.
Behold the ultimate power.
Still not enough yet, but there's a few enemies in here. That really looks like we're off. There we go. And now we're able to use Chaos Control. It's going to stop us right in front of this door because I want us to unlock it, but we can actually get around it by going through the upper level. There is a key door that is now open, but if we were quick enough on that little maneuver there, we could hit the butt of the spider, and that would put us just in range of where the door is and where the game would say, hey, if you use Chaos Control here, you just get to go past the door, unlocked or not. So, unfortunate there, but the idea is good. Alright, so because there's 3 different ways you can go in this room. For the expert room, or expert mode, we are going to go through the normal ending. Go straight across. That, and we unfortunately just have to wait for this platform. If we get through this room decently fast, like there's one cycle that's fast enough, is easy to get. But you get too much of a detour, end up running into something, and you had to wait a while. So, going faster on rails. We just had that like skeleton monster that you never saw. It's gone now. We deloaded it because we went too fast. When you're on rails in Shadow, the in this case it's on GameCube it's the X button, but I believe like for or Xbox controller it's like the B button. You just mash that. Mash it you can't mash it too fast because it's only so much of it affects the increased speed, but mashing it lets you go faster. Alright, Prison Island. This is one of those stages in expert mode that's actually decently different compared to its story mode. There's a lot more enemies in here. They're gonna put gates in places that weren't normally gates. Yeah, so this is gonna be a test of being able to quickly adapt to changes. There's normally an extra platform where we just landed. Yeah, looking good. We want to get dark points at first because there's a lot of gun enemies around. But and we're gonna use that dark power later on. Once we get past this section here, or in the section past here, we're gonna want to get back to focusing on hero points so that we use a well-timed chaos control. Now we do want to use the Omochao gun here because there's a lot of larvae flying around. So, like I was explaining earlier, the larva is able to jump around.
Behold the ultimate power.
So, sorry, this okay. So yeah, so now we got chaos control. We can skip all this, but we get stopped here because the game wants you to complete this puzzle, quote unquote, to get through here. And that was a very good chaos control because if you are a bit slow with that killing section, you're able to you get stuck in one of the rooms that we skipped over. Looking good. We got our dark power now. So with the power of Dark Shadow, invincibility, right? So this acid river doesn't hurt us. You can just sprint right through it, mashing all the Omochaos. Once again, the only useful Omochao. And go. Okay, so if we're good on our point management, we're going to be able to barely get through this next section here. If I had to guess right now, we would not going to make it, but we can stop at this section right here. Just barely missed it, but can charge the spin dash. And ooh, the multiple spin dashes in the air. That was awesome. Yeah. Actually, we would have been out of chaos control or Dark Shadow at this point. So we just take this air saucer all the way down, dodging all the things we can. And there's the goal ring. Normally the goal ring would have been much earlier on, and this is where like the 5th secret disc is that Charmy keeps talking about. So yeah, moved it around so that you can definitely play through more of the level. Alright, next stage 3, Circus Park. This one's the meme, the one where the shadow says the line about the emerald. Unfortunately, no cutscenes in this run, so we'll be not able to see it, but let me know that this is where it happens. So this stage has a couple of missions that would be in story mode, not in expert mode. Expert mode, once again, is going to be hit all the ring or get the gold ring. This one, like if you were trying to get hero missions, you would. Let me explain what's going on right here. So we're trying to use the little ledge there to do a spin dash jump off of it, but because of the angle we attack it at, we actually get immense height, and we're just short for a lot of those, but we're able to use that technique in a lot of places to get to areas that we normally wouldn't have immediate access to. So that's the fastest way to do it. The other way would you have to kill the enemies around and hope that you can like it's quick to do. But the guys that are on the balls that are juggling things and are walking around, those guys are a real pain in the ass. Take out. So you see another one here, right? Yep, right there. Those guys are the worst. This guy is the worst. Just gonna move through here. Yeah, so like that little, when I was talking about earlier about getting stuck on a ledge, trying to hit a ramp, it's that animation that will happen. There's like an upper and lower section here. The lower section's pretty fast. The upper section's more if you want to like get extra rings or something, which is ironic because it's faster to get rings going down than up, but the casual player doesn't know that. well-timed getting of chaos control. And now we're able to skip one of the most difficult puzzles in this expert mode. You just skip that. It's a really hard platforming section. If you don't get the chaos control right and you're stuck there, like, run over. But also, like, good luck surviving for the rest of your lives. We're gonna do another one of those spin dash high jumps here. This is gonna look like we're out of bounds, but it's really not. It's like the alignment of the top of the stage is not quite in line with where the where the hitbox is. So it's allowed. Gonna make sure we get back on that rope. Very good. And we're off. We're zooming by because there's nothing else to do here. And the game just wants us to get back.
Perfect.
There's the goal ring. And we go. That's the end of the stage 3s. We're now going to start the stage 4s. So if you can visualize what the map of the levels look like between each of the different like story mode playthroughs, this is where we start getting 5 stages in a row as possibilities. So Central City is first. This is the one that most people probably got very stuck on. I know I did for a long time when I was first playing this game. I could not figure out that there's bombs over here. And see that spin dash high jump that we just did to get past without having to do like the actual intended way so fast.
Come here.
And then they changed up how you have to destroy these bombs because there's normally I believe it's just open instead of actually having to be blocked behind enemy kills. There's just supposed to be a bomb here, but that got relocated. This thing's had changed for expert mode. Now this stage is one of the few that actually has an objective you have to do, because normally the 2 missions you can do in story mode are both objective based, so there's no goal ring. It's a big old circle, so there's no like end per se. That's not like super easy to do. Like if you were able to just run there, you could probably get there in 30 seconds maybe? Probably closer to 45. Those gun soldiers to open up the gun crate, and then this is going to be the first use of the shadow rifle. This shadow rifle is something you unlock by playing the last story, which you get by 10 main endings, and then unlocking the last story to beat it. And this is basically a shadow spear attack that is shown in Super Shadow in that final boss fight. And this thing melts everything. It does enough damage to basically murder anything that's on the ground or in the air that's a normal enemy. And then if it's like a tank or if it's a objective, it might take a couple more shots. But it's a murdering machine. So we're gonna skip that one spring that like seemingly would have gotten us right here. It's actually a prank. It'll shoot you straight up and then down to the one that we actually used just now. The shadow power, and up the shield and everything, and we're gonna make our way to the last bomb.
Perfect.
Just like that, we're done. Alright, next of the stage 4s here is going to be the Doom. Now, Doom is pretty notorious for the ways that you can make the stage dramatically shorter. For expert mode, or for normal story mode, you can normally use one of those satellite lasers I was talking about earlier to hit a switch behind the door. The switch is gone, but another thing that we can do is use out-of-bound tricks to skip the door, but this is glitchless, so that's not allowed. It looks like we're getting hero power, right? So making sure we get everybody. Everyone matters. And if we get chaos control at the right spot, we just get to go past the door. This door is like And then like the end is like right around the corner too. So it's hilarious how many ways you are able to skip this stuff. So we're getting some extra hero points here just to be extra sure that we make it through this next section. So now we use chaos control and we're able to just zip on up here. So this is another one of those stages that is a
Perfect.
objective-based one. The objective here is save all the scientists, but in normal gameplay, the scientists are all over the place. So if you're unaware that they're all at the end, then you're just running around everywhere. Where are these guys? I cannot find them. All for them to be just at the very end. Alright, moving into Sky Troops. So, if you recall Glyphic Canyon and the different temples, well, they're not temples, they're spaceships. See? So, we're jumping around from spaceship to spaceship, and we're either helping Eggman with destroying the power generators of these ships, we're either just ignoring everybody and running to the end, which we'll be doing this time, or we're helping Black Doom take out the ships that you see firing upon everyone here. So, this is a neat little jumper. Gives you massive legs to jump high. The hover mechanic it does give you, awful. Never use it. Try to avoid using it. If you have to use it, you're probably done. Yeah, we're gonna get a few more kills here. And now with that amount of meter, we are gonna need a few more kills, which we should have enough enemies in the next section here, dude. So, I remember saying all loops are bad and we want to skip them. That loop is very hard to skip, so don't skip that one. That one's fine. Everyone else, all the loops should be skipped. Alright, so we did grab some little extra ammo there, and we're off. This section here is very tedious because you jump around it. So, very nice to be able to skip it. And that was an excellently executed momentum jump there. Normally you have to like slow down, jump on the platforms to get up on top, and then you can go down. Or, God forbid, you have to go down to the lower section, which is so long. I've been having trouble with that one. So that's very good that we were able to show that in action. So, a few more enemies to take out, to open up the store.
Behold the ultimate power.
The story section all of a sudden for some reason. I don't know if they ever explain it, just that it is. But yeah, we got enough hero points to be able to use Chaos Control again. If you were to try to use Chaos Control on the platform there, though, it will stop you because they want you to get onto the Black Hawk there to fly in like a Star Fox style manner, like we did earlier in Cryptic Castle. But if you just jump out into the void, you can use Chaos Control and be okay. So we do that, and it's really fun to do and scary sometimes. All right. Looking good. Coming up next here, we have Bad Matrix. Some of you may recognize this stage as really horrible or really fun, depending on how you view things. So, kind of like Digital Circuit, this time instead of the government's computer, we're in Eggman's computer. And the three main missions here, if we were playing story mode, is get to the exit point, which is in the red tower, or turn on all the terminals in each of the towers. We're currently in the blue tower. And the most notorious mission is the blow up all the bombs that the aliens placed in here. Blow up the computer. And that one, that is quite the mission. Fortunately, we do not have to do that one. But we will be doing the mission for hitting all the terminals. So we make sure we hit every part of the stadium. So here comes the blue tower. Now for that particular room, if we were allowed to go out of bounds, it is so much easier. You just line yourself up on a ramp that was earlier and just yourself through the wall because there's only so much collision, but glitchless. So unfortunately, we have to play by the rules. So kind of like with digital circuit, there's like a network of line or like internet lanes that we're traveling across to get from tower to tower. Thankfully, we just have to worry about like very close together paths with each one. Each one of these towers has a few of these puzzles, and the only thing you have to worry about is making sure the colors line up and that you touch each of the panels at least once. Or I'll explain what I mean there in this room. So you land the middle, and you can jump around. Yeah, okay, I was trying to explain this, but I was doing a horrible job. So you jump around on this one panel, and once you land and it detects that everyone has the same panel, then it allows you. So you can see Pokemon Master here is going to be heal cannon. We're using the heal cannon on the black one, and like got dark points, but that's not hero points. Why would we do that? Well, as I was explaining earlier, using a heal cannon on an enemy pacifies them. So normally that worm is trying to murder you with homing tracking missiles. So very much ideal to make sure at least one of your heal shots hits that black worm, or you're gonna have a bad time. Okay. Yellow tower done. On our way to red tower. Place looks really confusing, but if you ever get a chance to look at, you can go look it up right now actually. If you go look up like Mad Matrix map, then you'll notice how like symmetrical it is, and how each section kind of has like a certain pattern going on for it. So not too bad to memorize once you've given it a try. There's a nice little pattern that we do here as we quickly get those all yellow. Another thing you might have noticed is that the colors of the tiles do not have to match the tile or the color of the tower you're in. They just have to match, which is mighty convenient because some of these puzzles would take a little bit longer to do if you had to match like only red and red tower and only blue and blue tower. Where that item box is down there beneath the giant spinning ball that is here for some reason, I honestly don't know what this is for. Doesn't matter. The terminal's on top. We're out of here. That item box would be the goal. Yeah, as I was explaining earlier, we do have a like a damage cap. We accidentally did it on turn there, but that's easily correctable because we can just get right back up. But because of our ability to damage boost things, we're just blasting through the firewalls. We have plenty of lives now, so fearing about running out of lives is probably not the main concern right now. That next one, just in case. Also, like if you do die, like that was actually a very good one, just in case we mess up this section here, because it will probably put him all the way back in like the yellow tower, where he would have to go through or something. So that's actually a very good safety check. 2 more heals here, and then we're able to chaos control to skip this auto scroller. And there's another auto scroller here, and then we're gonna cancel chaos control, and then quickly use chaos control again to skip the 3rd auto scroller. So yeah, very, very convenient that we can actually get hero points to this point and use chaos control to skip all this.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's Mad Matrix done. I remember doing a run, must have been like a year or so ago, and I hit those panels to activate the the thing that would bring you up into the top to get the terminal to finish the stage that we just did there. I got stuck underneath it, and it wouldn't let me into the thing that moved me up, and I was off on the stage. That was not fun. Thankfully, that didn't happen. I think I've only seen it happen one other time. Not that common at all. I'm still scared every time I tried to do that stage. So, welcome to Death Ruins. This is the last of the stage 4s. The objective here is, if you can guess, get the goal ring. And to do that, we're going to be getting awesome shadow weapons to get the points really fast. A 30-second time here, very good. I find myself, like, especially lately, getting higher than that. I gotta get. But this is very good so far.
Roger that. Men, forgive me.
Grab 2 more points here. Main thing that we want to do is make sure we get chaos control in a particular section, because in this stage at least, it just carries you. Here it comes. We get these last 3 kills, chaos control, and as we're using chaos control, we're dealing damage to things around us, which allows us to get points. So we're killing aliens left and right, and it just keeps carrying us. And yeah. So yeah, remember, loops, bad, skip them. Like that.
Perfect.
End stage. Very good. Now it's the first stage 5 mission of the run. This is the Arc. Now the Arc is mainly a stage you use on this Black Bolt. Black Bolt is pretty similar to the Black Hawk we saw earlier. We get missiles, which is awesome. If they helped us at all with going fast, which it doesn't. So this is the time where you just jam to the music. You may have noticed that the stage looks eerily familiar. This is basically Final Rush in Shadow, but everything's all exploded because, well, bad things happen in the Arc, right? So yeah, we're just taking a joyride and listening to music. Another thing to note here is that those ring dash panels things that we just hit, we want to make sure that we hit all 3, especially the last one. Failing to do that will be a little bit more of a time loss than you just missed one of the first 2. Yeah, normally your missions here are get to the end, like we're doing now, or blowing up a bunch of like defense program machines, or just hiding around everywhere. Yeah. As is tradition, there's also a massive skip you can do here, but that requires you going out of bounds. So, unfortunately, we can't show it off today. It's pretty awesome, though. Every time I look at, like, I haven't played that Sonic Adventure 2 in quite some time. Every time I go through this stage, I think about, like, is it how much of a match is this compared to SA2? And I think we determined it's not exactly a match. It is very, very damn close. Set of dash pads here. Excellent. That last one there can be a little bit tricky sometimes.
Perfect.
And we're good. Next stage coming up here is going to be Air Fleet. Now, Air Fleet is it's a stage where you have to either destroy the president's fake escape pod, kill all the aliens, or get to the end. Surprise, we're going to the end. But they have sections of the stage that you can like branch off to and do one or the other, depending on what objective you're trying to do and how that makes it easier or less easier for you. And they, for expert mode, they blocked off one of those areas for each time that would occur. So we are going to just kind of run through the stage, like, pretty linearly. They give you enough chance. Step 1 here is get the shadow rifle and start getting some kills. Because we're going to want to use chaos control to skip through a section that's not necessarily hard, but it's a thing. So if we can skip things, we should try to skip things, right? Good. We do need to be careful. We don't want to get too many kills because something can happen. Is you get chaos control too early, and if you get chaos control too early, that timer starts and the meter starts draining. So you want to make sure you only get chaos control at the right moment. Skip all that very nicely. Move on. If we did skip an alien, that is okay. You don't need to hit every alien to get enough points. So there was the blockade we just saw. Now we have to go through the dark section where we take out the gun soldiers instead of a much more easier path with the alien section or these platforms. I've gotten shot mid-jump sometimes and fall between the platforms. It's awful. But we did a very good job here. Take the checkpoint, very nice. This section can be a bit troublesome if you're not lined up just right. Very good. Here's a fan section. We skipped a few of them already. Because as you can see there, you have to like time your speed to get all the way through this one. Right, and now that we're done with Dark Shadow, we can get hero points again. When you're in either of the modes, you're not allowed to get points for the other side. Now we can get the remaining hero kills necessary to complete this rest of the stage. So one more kill, use this chaos control to skip this very, very deep section. Not hard to do that section, but it's slow. So yeah, very good. Well, up next, Iron Jungle. This stage is not like there's definitely some changes compared to regular gameplay, but it's pretty much you're just doing a normal playthrough. It just so happens that when we get chaos control at the ideal times, it just skips all the hard stuff. So they do want us to go up, but if we hit the power of the spin dash jump, we can just skip the upper section. A few more enemies to kill here, and a trusty egg vacuum. And we grabbed all the enemies in here to give us the remaining hero points. And that was a very good timed chaos control. We should be able to make it all the way through. Excellent. Now that section there, if you're not like within frames of getting chaos control and then pressing that chaos control button, you will not make it all the way like we just did. But that's okay. If you don't do that and you realize this, you're able to stop your chaos control like we've done in the past and then start it up again. And that allows you to get a little bit of extra distance because the game requires that you go a certain amount of distance regardless of how many or how much meter you have left. Imagine that if you're in a car and you're running out of gas, just turn the car off, turn the car back on. You get an extra mile out of it. That's basically how it works. Unfortunately, you can't do that in real life. Sad. Space sketchbook. So we're back on the arc. This is normally we're racing Sonic at the end, but no Sonic, just us. We still want to go to the end. So we'll be using the vast majority of the same tricks. You just have to pay attention to the geometry because it is ever so slightly different.
I was thinking of maybe having you over. Training is tough, but try it.
Good recovery there. And we're able to do a spin dash here and make it past the robot. It's possible to just run past the robot, but that's a little bit faster. So, running through that like cinematic looking section. So coming up here is going to be an interesting trick. There's a chaos orb right behind us. And I expect that they plan on you getting that orb after you flip the gravity, but because we're able to do that little maneuver, we can actually jump over, and then what you're not seeing is that Pokemon Master is using the strafe button. By the way, there's a strafe button in Shadow. And that locks the camera in place, and doing that allows them to get a better idea of where they are at, because normally the camera like turns around all weird and in the complete opposite direction of where you want it. So discovering that a couple years back has been a big game changer for the stage. It allowed a lot of new things. Here comes the secret door. This is a pretty decent shortcut. Just normally, you can kind of see some of the rails as we're falling down. There's like a whole rail section that's pretty cool, but it's long and slow, so
Perfect.
you want to skip that. Under 2 minutes for this stage is fantastic. So, good. This is the stage that a lot of you have probably been waiting for. Lost Impact. This is the one stage that, like me, you probably played for like a half hour before you gave up and looked up all the answers for where the lost artificial chaos are. Now in the past, we would you'd get kills and heals, like chaos control, but turns out you don't have to waste your time with that. You can just run through the stage. It's much faster. It's kind of like unintuitive. Like, what do you mean I can't like take a little detour here and there and get points? And didn't use a massive chaos control to speed through it. It just doesn't work out that way. Turning the gun turret a bit so that they can get out in the direction that they need to go. A little minor time save there, but made the difference between a record and just a good run. Good. Next gun lift section. Now, if we were getting chaos control, we would get it in this room, right about here. That would allow us to skip everything that we're about to see up until like the next room, which is nice because look at all these asteroids everywhere. But we're just gonna tank this one hit real quick and make our way through. Yeah, the amount of time it takes for you to get to the point where you can skip this. Like, you're already well past this point. You're just running through. Doesn't seem like that should be the case, but right. Little vertical section here. It's so much easier to just jump down to climbing around the walls. This is the last gun lift section here. And get to the gold ring, which they've moved further into the stage. Normally it's in the room. Alrighty.
Perfect.
That we're done. Another thing that's really cool about that stage is that if you're playing a glitched category, there's a nice out of bounds you can do. It's really cool looking. And you basically skip everything you saw, and from the first room you can get to this room. It's insane.
This is for my friend. Hey, Shadow, you've only got 6 stages.
Alright, this is the last set of stages, the stage 6s, the ones that are at the end of the story paths. This is Gun Fortress, where you be if you were very bad. We're just being good, because this is expert though, so we're here anyways. So, a lot of enemies in the middle of those hallways, so that's why we went not in the middle, we went to the outside. This is one of those rooms I was talking about earlier where they like threw in a curveball. That's normally just a bridge like we're on right now, but they decided let's put giant holes here. So you're basically guaranteed to pick it down there on a first playthrough. Pretty mean, cheap shot, but I mean, hey, if you were really an expert, you would have seen that coming, right? Grabbing the overshot gun here. I personally prefer the shadow rifle, but both are decently reliable. Damn it. We're getting dark points here, though, so we can utilize infinite ammo later on. I don't know if we got that last one. Okay, we got it. Awesome, so we're gonna try to do another one of those jumps that we saw in the first room. Not quite the height, but good enough. Sometimes you can get a good enough jump to reach up to that door. Alright, so now we have Dark Shadow. This is a little bit earlier than we probably planned on, but we still make it. I would definitely have gone back a bit there too. I just played through the stage in this mission, and I was scared about doing like landing there like before. Okay, yeah, it looks like we unfortunately lost our shadow power, so we're gonna have to be a little more careful with our ammo here. The Elma shotgun does travel a bit, so that's really nice and helpful, but there's not really a whole lot more need to have the Elma shotgun at this point. The rest of the stage is pretty much just run very good connection to the rails, keeping the momentum going. That one is giving a lot of people a lot of trouble, and I've been having trouble with it lately as well. That's good that. This section can be a little bit challenging because of the fixed cameras, but that was actually super fast. Not how I would do it. I have like a particular method where like the inputs are always the same. I don't usually trust myself with what do you call, with getting. I lost my train of thought as I was trying to explain this. This is another one of those sections that's like a curveball where they basically get you to cause yourself death. And like just jumping like that, like that's the fastest way to do it. I've tried looking into different ways of using like a spin dash jump, and it's slower or much more riskier because the enemies can lock onto you faster.
Shadow, it's me.
Yeah, there we go.
Sorry.
5 more stages left.
Been busy.
Next one here is Black Comet. One change that you might not notice initially, depending on how you play, is that they block off the bridge or the tunnel underneath the bridge. There's a giant weight there. So what we would normally do for the stage and the other story mode is we would go underneath that bridge, but now we have to go around. And there's 2 ways of getting chaos control in this stage, and this one is using heal cannons to get hero points, and another way would be to get a bunch of kills using weapons, but since we can't really do the weapon route because that requires going underneath the bridge, we just use the heal cannon. Now we got the shadow rifle. That's going to be very helpful because there's definitely enemies in the way that cannot be vacuumed up, and they're taking multiple shots from the shotgun. And yeah, so we're going to do another spin dash high jump here. Well, I'm assuming that one can be really difficult. I do not play Pokemon Master at all for taking this elevator right now. Like, I've had runs die because I just hit it just wrong, and I get thrown way out into the open with no chance of recovery. Oh yeah, points are looking great. Here we go, last bit of kills here. Just like that. make it through this warp point, and then we just use Chaos Control right away to skip this section here. Sometimes we'll pause and unpause like that, and that's to allow us to, what's the word I'm looking for? Reload the area. Not reload, but allow it to finish loading. That's the word I should be using there. Because this is a disc-based game, so reading times are dependent on the quality of your disc and how fast the game is able to get to the sectors of the disc. So some inconsistent loading can happen there. Especially since this is a late era GameCube game as well, so they're doing a lot more in this game than, like, I would say even the earliest GameCube games would be. Alright, so this section here, we're taking a little joyride on the air saucer, making sure we dodge the bullets of the butts. Those are big butts. They will melt the air saucer real quick, and when that happens, you fall into the acid river basically immediately. I took one shot, that's fine.
Behold the ultimate power.
Okay, we have full hero meter. We haven't used Chaos Control yet though, because Chaos powers only activate when you're not in a vehicle. Now that we were not in a vehicle, we were able to get through there just fine. So we're going to try to use Chaos Control in the ideal spot. I like this shit. I saw Pokemon Master do this very recently. Like I was playing before with the car, getting free gas. Got some free gas here. I was able to skip that whole section. Normally what I've been doing is I've been like actually doing a lot more movements and getting to the point where they use their second Chaos Control, and that's where I'd be using my first. So very good route improvement there. Alright, at the very end of Black Comet. And yeah, I'm just gonna take the air saucer down. Or are we? Turns out we can get up here and it's actually a little bit faster. I have to get the exact timing down, but we're pretty confident that this is a little bit faster to do.
Perfect.
Sub 4 minutes, good. Alright, coming up next is everybody's favorite stage. Is Lava Shelter. This is where we're confronting Eggman because we thought we were a robot for some reason. I tried not to think about the story of Shadow the Hedgehog too much. Your brain won't handle it. Yeah, we're basically just gonna run through the stage really quick, getting hero points along the way, but this is how we've been doing it for all the other stages too. A lot of enemies here that we could have gotten hero points on, but we don't need Chaos Control until much later. So kind of like I was saying earlier, get too many hero points too soon, you get Chaos Control too soon, you can't use it as effectively as you want. So we're just going to make sure we get planned out kills to get the hero meter where we want it. Now, one thing that is a little bit different because it's expert mode is they placed egg pawns in front of every generator, and they're programmed to just shoot the generator. And when the generators are activated by shooting, all the lava rises up. So we'll be taking the dark path, and we're basically forced to be inconvenienced by the lava at the most early opportunity. Getting a lot of hero points here. Flipping over the lava right very nicely. Everything's going very great. Gotta make sure we time our movements there, because if we walk on the wall for too long, we end up falling off. But those have been great. Got a little Chaos Control a little bit too early here, but that's fine. We're pretty much at the part that we wanted Chaos Control at anyways. So hopefully we have enough to make it all the way up. We do! Alright. And this is the end. Now, if you have Chow-related emotes, this is the time to spam it in the chat because of this next stage. This is your one opportunity. Go. This next stage is going to be Cosmic Fall. Now Chow will explain. All that was good luck, Shadow. Isn't that wonderful? So, what we just saw there is that there's actually an invisible platform.
Damn, not
It's
here.
supposed to be a platform that spawns in. I believe we got the checkpoint. So this is the ideal way of recovering. Even if it takes a little bit long. Good. Yeah, so there's an invisible platform there that still has collision, but it's supposed to be like a recovery platform if you take too long to get up the normal way. So we're able to use that to skip that whole first section that takes like a half a minute otherwise. At least that's how it feels like. And using well-timed jumps and spin dashes to make our way through these other floating platforms. And it's going to be decently important that we keep this satellite laser. This will allow us to speed up a switch grab later on. But it's not the end of the world if we lose it. So jumping maneuver here. I believe I figured that one out. I forget. There's so many things. So many people figuring out so many things. It's hard to remember. But yeah, using chaos control here lets us skip this whole bottom section, and now we get to the midpoint. Nice and quick. If we're going for
Damn, not here.
I waited a little too long here. Unfortunate, but that's fine. We didn't lose out all that much time. We're basically right where the chaos control is and everything, so we can make our way through that. There's a decently difficult jump that we can do where Pokemon Master ends up taking a death. And let's get us through the section a little bit faster. It's not too bad. Back. Yeah, getting the the spin dash that I was just talking about. It's very difficult to do when you.
Damn, not
that was
here.
actually decent there. It's very difficult to do if you go for the checkpoint. We end up not making this way out. Unfortunate slip, but it's very hard to get that if you go for the checkpoint. So if you are going for this and you're going for like record time, you gotta skip that checkpoint and hope that everything goes okay. Okay. Yep, and this should work. As long as we maintain our direction. Yep, perfect. So this is where it would have been nice to have the satellite laser, because we would have been able to just skip the door sequence and just do a little boop. It would have sent the laser from the sky like the one that just hit us, and we would have been able to hit that switch and be on our way. So if we were playing the normal mission, a goal ring would be right here, but we're not. We're playing expert mode, so they put it in later on where the computer room is. This is gonna be the computer room, guys. I mean, yeah. They make this section a lot harder, but because we have the key door, light ring dash, it becomes like not hard at all. We want to be careful here. And we did get a good look there before we were able to use the dash, but it is possible for the platforms to intersect with your light ring path, and they will stop you. You will not go through them. And like, it's not always fortunate that you recover from that.
Perfect.
So, there's a computer room, and there's us. That's a lot of computer room. Yeah, we're looking pretty good here. We have 2 more stages. should be within estimate. Especially with the last way is like 2 minutes, so we're looking good.
Starting to feel the pressure yet?
So it's the final haunt. We're back on the Black Alien Comet. We're basically going to be tackling this like we would a normal playthrough because they don't really put a whole lot different in this stage. At least the parts that they do, we skip it with well-timed chaos control. Good. And this section here, let's see how this goes. Assassin kill, nice. Got using the geometry of the level to move our momentum up here so we don't have to go all the way around. Very good.
The ultimate power.
Yeah, quick and nasty get through here. Getting chaos control with that black warrior, or no, it's a black oak. And one quick chaos control here to, like with the car analogy, get a little extra mile of gas and get through that area. You want to make sure you kill all these guys. Fun fact: that section, if you're playing on, I think we've determined it was GameCube, Japanese, and Xbox. I think. But basically, newer builds, like there's a bug there where they will keep spawning in random black oaks in the same spots where they spawned in initially. So if you ever see any of my runs with Glitchless and an expert, you'll see me run into those guys constantly, even though I just beat them up. So yeah, clear that laser. That was almost a good momentum carrying jump, but that's fine. We can cover. Safety checkpoint. Jumping across the area here. Looking great. Damn it. So we're gonna need this vacuum gun here to use another one of those laser puzzles that we see here. And that will allow us to jump over this weight. Yeah, now if we were able to go through the dark section of the stage, we would have been able to just get right here, but they forced us down the hero path, which is a little bit harder. There, we don't need that gun anymore. After this chaos control, it's basically just a run to the end. Just like that. Now, if you were doing this in no warps or any percent without the really dumb glitch, you would have chaos control through this whole thing and use an extra chaos control here to get to the end faster. Not much of a time loss. Just straight into the goal ring here.
Perfect.
One more stage. That completes all of the main story runs. And all that's left now is the last way, which is the last story exclusive stage. And the finale of our run. Alright. Now, unlike with last story, we don't have like a countdown timer, so we can just, if we wanted to, we could take our time, but this is a speed run, so we're not going to take our time. We're going to go as fast as we possibly can. So, just zipping on through. Now, conveniently, they do have a door here that has a portal. That makes us like more than halfway through the stage, so we will be doing that. Here we go. Waiting for the door. Like, you can jump, it's actually like a giant hole in the ceiling. So if you do a well-timed, like, upwards jump, you can get in the hole and then get into the portal without having to open the door. But that is like not much of a time save, if any amount of time save. So waiting for the key door or secret door there is totally fine. So we're getting to the point now where we need to start getting some kills. We got 1 kill, 2 kill, 3 kills, 4 kills. 5, 6,
Damn, it's not here.
7, 8. Stop at the 9th, I believe. Because then there's a few more enemies here. Oh, we just... That's unfortunate. We should be able to recover decently by grabbing one of the refractors. Those are the red weapons the assassins have. Yep. Now these guns, like, there's not a lot of ammo and they don't do as much damage as the shadow rifle, but they are powerful. And they kind of do the ricocheting thing that the shotgun does too, so it's a personal favorite of mine. Damn it. Alright. Should be looking good here. Now, this is one of those rooms where we want to make sure we get chaos control, or use our chaos control immediately upon getting that kill, which looked like we did exactly that. And with that, we're able to get past that last little puzzle. The last way is notorious for making you use chaos control. They actually position things around so that you have to get chaos control to continue forward. But we're above that. We can go so much faster. And timing is going to be any second now, and that is time. Or at least assuming my voice is in sync with the video, which I have no idea, honestly. But there we go. That is Shadow the Hedgehog Glitchless in under a minute, or sorry, not a minute. In under, I witched right. Under an hour and a half. Fumbled a bit there in the beginning, but we got a really good run at the end there. Hope everybody enjoyed. Pokemon Masters able to talk now.
Yep.
Do you have any thoughts about how that ended up going?
I thought it was terrible in the beginning. My head just wasn't there, and then game over. But then I actually focused and did it. I guess.
I've noticed as you were running more, like as you got further into the second round, you were playing a lot more confidently. You were in the groove.
Yeah, definitely.
You were able to show off a lot of cool things.
Yeah, the game is punishing. Like as you saw, you can easily die. Simple stuff like one slide can just like throw you off the stage for the collision, and you can lose minutes just with one small mistake. So it's definitely a punishing category, but definitely really rewarding if you do it well.
Yes, this is one of those games where, like, you gotta learn quite a bit about how the physics work, because I know a lot of people have trouble with the physics in this game, but once you learn it and you put in the practice time, it's one of those games that it rewards you for having a lot of skill.
Yeah.
And doing things consistently. All that fun stuff.
You definitely gotta stick to your roots, though. If you die, like you saw, you can't do certain routes anymore. You just lose so much time, so...
Yes.
It was fun, though. The beginning was terrible, but had fun. Second try, but hope everyone enjoyed. Try out the game if you haven't. It's a great game that has a small community. We're trying to grow it, get it to be bigger.
Yes.
Definitely pick up the game if it's on emulator, original system, anything. Just join our Discord group and give it a try. It's awesome.
Yep, we'd be happy to have you.
Well, thanks. Stick around for the rest of the marathon.
Yes. Next run should be fun.
Decker's run is going to be good.